Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? So we're just gonna wait for some people to come online real quick, and then we're gonna get started. So here's the fun part. Today, we're gonna be reading This Book is Gay. So, you guys ready to get into it today? Skimming through it, and I don't know what kind of book this is, but it ain't for kids. So we're gonna wait about another minute or two, and we're going to get started. So yeah, let's wait. We got one person here. Hello, hello. How are you doing today? So I'm gonna get everything ready. One person. So we're gonna be reading This Book is Gay today. We're gonna go chapter after chapter after chapter. So let's see what we got. Bam. All right. So this book is being pushed in. So I'm from Wisconsin. Everybody, so let me just do this correctly. My name is Rocky. I live in Wisconsin. Currently work with an organization called Gays Against Groomers. I don't know if you guys heard of us, but pretty well known online. I am the chapter leader, and we go around and find stuff that's happening in Wisconsin regarding school issues, drag queen story time, drag queen performances for minors, all that BS that's happening. So in Kenosha, Wisconsin, they are trying to put this book is Gay by Juno Dawson, on the curriculum, and I think, sorry, let me go, we fixed that. So we're going to be talking about this book today, and this is up for a school board meeting issue to be added on the curriculum and put in libraries in Kenosha. So to stop all the, let's just cut to the chase, stop all the bullshit people are talking about. Oh, this book is safe. This book just teaches kids. No, I don't think so. So what better way than to prove what's in there than to go page by page and read word for word what exactly are in these books that are being pushed to kids. So here we go. So today we are going to be reading This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson. This book is dedicated to anyone who has ever wondered about what? That's the question. Wondered about what? Contents. Alright, this introduction is gay, but it took time to get here, by David Leviathan. So yeah, I was pretty oblivious, even though I had kissed boys and liked it, even though other people had called me gay, rarely as a compliment, even though my friends had asked if I was gay, later I found out it was okay that I was, even though it was pictures of guys that turned me on, I had a stash. Even though I had a gay uncle who brought his boyfriend to Thanksgiving without incident, even though all the signs were there, I still didn't make the connection. I was, what's the phrase? Willfully ignorant. What I'm saying is, even though I was obvious, it took me a while to figure out I was gay. Granted, now is a different time. At this point, even 5 years ago is a different time. But the timeless reason I was so clueless was this. I couldn't recognize the clues. Did Kamala Harris write this book? What the hell? And since I didn't recognize them, I couldn't find them until I did. Y'all, I'm convinced that Kamala Harris was the ghostwriter for this. Oh my lord. Let's continue. For me, it was a quote in my college newspaper. A fellow student was interviewed about how he knew he was gay, and his answer was simple. He said that whatever he fantasized, he thought about being with guys. And I thought, oh yeah, I gathered more clues, I pieced together more answers, it got easier and easier. I was fine. No, better than that. I was who I was meant to be. When I was in high school, there's no way a book like this would have made it to me. Bitch, it's 2023 and this book doesn't need to be hitting anybody that is in middle school, grade school, high school. This book should not be in public school libraries. Just that alone? No, I'm sorry. Where was I? Oh, this shit really gets me going. When I was in high school, there was no way a book like this would have been made for me. But what if it had? I imagine I would have figured out things sooner. I would have been less clueless. Because this is, if nothing else, an extraordinary helpful book of clues. And here's the thing about clues: they don't tell you what to do, but they show you what you can do. Let's reread that real quick. And here's the thing about clues: they don't tell you what to do, but they do show you what you can do. Keep that in the back of your mind. Oh, here's the picture of the book. Hopefully they can see that. Okay, we good? All right, YouTube. Seriously, you gotta stop with the bullshit. YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. This book is gay, but you don't have to be gay in order to read it. Whether you're curious about the gay people in your life, clue, they're there. No shit, they're there. We can't go a day without knowing about them. The non-binaries, the they that. Well, let's get this straight. The non-binaries and the they and thems. That's a mental issue that doesn't exist. Sorry. Questioning your own identity or very sure of your own identity. Thank you very much. But a little lost in the ins and outs of, well, the ins and outs. This is a crash course to prevent you from crashing the honest truths in a world where there are few simple truths. I've been gay longer than any current teenager has been alive. Pause, freaks out a little, but I still found a new clue or two dozen. When I travel, I love to read guidebooks, first to hear what other people have to say where I'm going before I get there. Then, when I arrive, I close the guidebooks and have my own experience of the place. So, think of this as a handy guidebook. Take it what it has to say, see what it helps you figure out, then close it and experience. I promise there's a lot to experience. Well, I did skim through this book, and trust me, honey, there's a lot of things that they're talking about experiencing that children have no right, or no, they should not be reading this, talking about this, or knowing what's inside this book at all. So we're coming next to the author's notes. So, author's notes again, Juno Dawson, so I'm assuming these are Juno Dawson's notes. Welcome to the updated edition of This Book is Gay. This book first released in 2014. 2014? Well, has taken the world by storm. Yeah, not in a good way either. It's been translated into a dozen languages. It's been banned in Alaska. Well, thank you, Alaska. Somebody has common sense. It hits the headlines in the UK. Well, go fucking figure. It's the UK. They're all fucked up there. More importantly, I've received hundreds upon hundreds of letters, tweets, and emails from all over the world, from young people and their parents, either asking for guidance or thanking me for writing this book. That was the dream when the book first came out. So it has been a dream come true. But the world doesn't stand still for very long, and it became clear that some of the facts in the previous edition were rapidly becoming out of touch. The revised edition takes into account shifting awareness of issues surrounding both sexuality and gender. Oh God, here we go. I've also listened to feedback, trolls, that some readers felt excluded or sidelined. Of course they fucking did. Of course they did. Nobody in this world now can go a day without having somebody self-gratify them or give them some kind of acknowledgement. If they don't get the acknowledgement, they literally break down in tears and like try to unalive themselves. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, the recommended age for this book, it doesn't really say the recommended age for this book, but I'm assuming if they're trying to push this to middle schoolers in Kenosha, it's about 12, 13 years old, but honestly, I don't think this book should be for anybody under the age of 18, personally speaking. Thank you. Alright, so where were we? Oh yeah, becoming out of touch, felt excluded, sidelined, which never was the intent. My life has changed too. I now live as both, oh my god, wait for it guys. Wait, oh, they, thems, non-binaries, wait for it all of y'all. I now live as both James and Juno. Oh, Jesus Christ. And now have a new perspective on life as a transgender woman. Oh, God. As with the first edition, some contributor names have been changed or left out, And I've used the LGBTQ plus as a quick shorthand that I intend to include all queer non-binary people inclusively. Well, why, thank you. In challenging times, it's more important than ever that we come together as a community and support one another. It all starts with kindness and compassion. And you. Now let's read that part again. It's more important than ever that we come together as a community and support one another. It all starts with kindness. But if you're against children transitioning, if you're against drag queen story time, if you're against children performing at drag shows, if you're against children being pushed LGBTQ propaganda in schools, what about those people? Can we talk about those people for a minute? No? Silence? We got you, boo. Chapter 1. Welcome to the Members Club. That sounds kind of dirty, doesn't it? Like, what kind of club are you talking about? I want to know. Welcome to the Members Club. And for those of you just joining, even though it's just 2 of you, the most people I've ever had on one of my streams, thank you. This book is Gay by Juno Dawson. I'll be showing the cover so we don't get, attacked by the YouTube gods that be. All right, everybody, chapter 1. So I don't know if we're going to go chapter after chapter, or if we're going to do a chapter a day. I don't know. It depends how I feel. After, going through the book, I was, almost to the point of throwing up, that I was like, should I even read this? Am I pushing this out there? But then I realized, who gives a fuck? Who cares what they say? Let's expose these nasty groomer pedophiles for what they are. Alright, welcome to the Members Club, Chapter 1. And as you can see there, they have the picture of Le Club Secret, members only. And yeah. Too bad we don't have gatekeeping anymore like we used to back in the day, huh? Probably would have solved a lot of problems. Yeah, it's a good idea to read it live so people can understand. Thank you. Agreed. 100% agreed. Because they're being told on the mainstream media, okay, we're just going to take a quick little break and talk about we're going to talk about this. We'll break it down. I'm not really good with words. I am street smart. I am not book smart by any means. And I am proud to say that. I don't care. But my perspective, little of me, earth to me, they like to say that this book is about teaching, this book is to be inclusive. They don't tell you exactly what is being said, or not what was written in these books and what these kids are made to read. So basically what's happening is when parents find out about this and they're going to school board meetings and they're talking about it and they're reading excerpts from the books that they're not very happy about, they get their mic shut off, they get it beeped. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Mr. Kennedy on TV a couple days reading a couple excerpts from a book, and he got bleeped like a million fucking times. So they expect the common people who watch TV every day to not be able to hear those words that are being bleeped, but then they want to make kids read this? Bro. Okay. Lesson 1. Let's see what they're going to teach us today, alright? Sometimes men like men. Yes, that's called being gay. Sometimes women like women. Yes, true. That's called being a lesbian. Sometimes women like men and women. Yes, it's true. It's called being fucking greedy. No, I'm just kidding. It's bisexual. Sometimes men like women and men. Yes, again, see part 3, greedy bisexuals. Sometimes people don't like anyone. Yeah. I guess that's called asexual. I don't know. No, it's asexual. Sometimes a man might want to be with a woman. Sometimes a man might want to be with the woman. Sometimes a woman might want to be with the man. I'm not joking. But that's the same as the first 2. So, come on, repetitive to fill words. Let's go. Sometimes people don't identify as a man or as a woman. Yeah, they're either animals. They're not people that identify as something. I don't get it. Got that. It really is that simple. I could end the lesson there, but I don't think a few pages would make a very good book. You should have fucking thought about that before you even started page 1. So I suppose I should go into a bit more depth. Here we go, honeys. Buckle up, buttercup. Welcome to the Members Club. There's a long-running joke that on a coming out, a young lesbian, gay guy, bisexual, or trans person should receive a membership card and instruction manual. This is that instruction manual. You're welcome, but this is a manual for everyone, no matter their gender or sexual preference. So if this is a book for everyone, are you trying to get people that are easily swayed, might have low self-esteem, might just be looking for people and acceptance and things they're not finding at home? Is this a way to maybe get into their minds and make them think that, they are something else, something different? I don't really know. All right. School probably hasn't taught you very much about what it's like to be a lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, or questioning. You might have heard about famous gay people or seen same-sex couples on TV. You almost certainly know an LGBTQ plus person, even if you aren't aware of it. Like an alien invasion. We're already among you. We serve you in the post office. We teach you math. We make you hamburgers. So why don't we teach you about same-sex couples when we teach sex ed? Because that's completely different. Teaching them about sex ed and teaching them about, teaching them about same-sex couples and what they do, I think they're completely two different things there, okay? Teaching children about sex ed when it comes to practicing safe sex, what to use to not get pregnant, STDs, the whole thing we all went through in health class, that's fine. But teaching people about other people's sexuality, that's different. That is way different. And children do not have the mental capacity to understand the complexity of sex. Not even teenagers do. Some adults don't even do, okay? So let's just get that out the way. When we teach sex ed, well, that's a lot of people choose their gender. Well, I was a personal, social, health, and citizenship education teacher in the UK for a long time. Well, that makes a lot of fucking sense. And I always taught my students about these things, but not all schools do, and not all teachers know how. There's no training for this, I'm afraid. I surveyed a group of more than 300 young people in 2012, and 95% of them said their school taught them nothing about gay sex as part of sexual education. Well, no shit. Why would schools want to teach children about anal sex and dildos and lubrication and butt plugs, and how does that enhance their education? That's what I like to know. Sex between men and women are routinely presented as the norm. Well, because it is. Duh. The lack of education means that loads of young people, gay, straight, or bi, trans, or cis. Okay. Cis, we're going to drop that, cis, okay? Cis, no. Men, women, no cis. Sorry, honey. We're not gonna bow to that shit. We are not gonna bow to that. The lack of education means that loads of young people, gay, straight, or bi, trans, or cis, have oodles of questions about what it's like to be LGBTQ+. This book has become the answer. Whether you think you might be LGBTQ, or you think you're straight, but have questions, or you're anywhere in between, this book is for you. Your sexuality and gender are very much individual things, but what if there were a whole bunch of people who'd been through it all before to mentor you through this funny old patch? That sounds like grooming. The awareness that your sexual or gender identity isn't quite the norm can be a confusing, exciting, exhilarating, concerning, and frankly, baffling time. Long before you come out and tell people about your identity, it's just you and your brain trying to figure it out. So it can be a lonely time, often accompanied by whiny music and too much eyeliner. High school. Did I get kicked off? Okay. If this is still going, can you just hit a button or a letter and let me know it's still live? Because either my service went down or YouTube's coming for me. Either one. I don't. We're gonna keep going. Let's go, honey. All right. Awareness of your sexual gender identity isn't quite the norm and can be confusing. Okay, we went through all that. We went through all that. Okay. Um, oh my god. And tell people about your identity. It's just you and your brain trying to figure it out, so it can be a lonely time, and then it'll be often accompanied by whiny music and too much eyeliner. Okay. My past experience as a gay white man. Why did you have to say that? Could you just say gay man? God damn. My past experience as a gay white man, and more recently as a trans white woman. You're still a man. Let alone the thousands of gay women, bisexual men and women, and trans people who may be reading this book. I'm reading this because, unfortunately, I kind of have to know what I'm talking about. But I wouldn't read this book as a gay man myself. I'm an American. I'm human. I have the same rights as everybody else. I can vote. I can own a house. I can drive a car. I can't get fired from my job for being gay. So, like, that's it. That's the gist, girl. Like, I love it. Like, there's nothing else we need. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Therefore, before writing this book, I searched far and wide for dozens of the other LGBTQ plus people to share their experiences with you. Individually, we can never know it all, but together we're quite wise. Like the baboon in The Lion King. I haven't edited or changed the testimonies of the LGBTQ plus people in this book, so you might not identify or agree with everything they have to say, and that's fine. Unless you are against the indoctrination of children, of course. Sad, isn't it? We have to be able to talk about sexuality and identity in a non-hysterical way. Sexuality and gender are individuals' experiences. People are entitled to opinions, and vitally, we need to be able to make mistakes. I understand identity is an issue that some people feel very strong about. This is also a good thing. Activism is what got us this far. But if people aren't allowed to say what's really on their mind for fear of upsetting people, we'll end up never saying anything at all. Well, what do you know? But if people aren't allowed to say what's really on their minds for fear of upsetting people, we'll end up never saying anything at all. Yeah. This is quite ironic if you ask me. But in short, we have to be able to laugh at ourselves, whatever identity or we're in for a long haul life. So yeah, this book is gay is entirely serious all the way through. Although we do deal with some mega sad face topics. What? Like being misgendered? Like being called a biological man or woman? Being told to use your own restroom? Being told that you can't play in women's sports as a biological man even though you self-ID as a woman because it's unfair to biological women. Is that what you're talking about? Get over it. This is something different to the loads of dreary textbooks about gender and sexuality politics that are already out there. This book is serious, but it's also fun and funny. Girl, whatever. This whole point of coming out is that we have freedom to be who we are. When did that stop being fun? If you're new to the club, you're lucky because being L or G or B or T or Q or plus is super fun. You're free now and don't have to hide. Unless you're conservative and gay. Whatever you identify as by the end of the book, you'll see that. Far from being alone, you're joining a vast collective of cool people, happy, inspirational people, each with the Okay. Rewind. You'll see that far from being alone, you're joining a vast collective of cool, happy. These bitches are happy? You could have fucking fooled me. And inspirational people, each with a story to tell. It's not more a story, it's more of like a crying bitch session about somebody offended them or triggered them today. So please, honey, spare us the tears. It's the hippiest member club in town, and you get straight past the velvet rope and into the VIP lounge. You're not isolated, you're part of the something bigger now. Something great. Oh, hi. Sex thoughts. Girl, what? Already? Already? Page 6, and you're dropping sex thoughts? Middle school kids are supposed to read this? Okay, honey, let's go. Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Well, no shit, idiot. Very good place to start. I guess you're reading this book for one of several reasons. It may be because you already identify as LGBTQ. No, I identify as a gay man who lives in America. Fuck your acronyms. And let's face it, we love nothing more than talking about it. No, I don't. And the people who do are narcissistic, disgusting. They live their life as their sexuality is their life. Their sexuality is their identity. They don't have a name. They don't have a persona. They don't have uniqueness. They're all the same. They are copy cutter cookie versions of each other, just with it's the Prussian fucking Olympics of the fucking Riri squad. Ugh. Alright, guys, let's get into it. Face it, we love nothing more than talking about it. Maybe you're nosy to see what we get up to between the sheets. No, honey, come on, really? Maybe you're nosy into knowing what we do in between the sheets? It could be you are making fun of it because it has the word gay in the title. Girl, come on now. Shame on you. Girl, who are you shaming? You have no right to shame people. If they don't like it, they don't like it. Get over it. But maybe, just maybe, you picked this book up because you're wondering. It all starts with wondering. No, I picked up this book because I'm going to read your ass to filth over it, okay? That's my reasoning. Wondering what it might be like to kiss that boy or what the girl's breasts look like. What the literal fuck? What life would be like if you were a girl, not a guy. It's all about wondering. So, it's all about wondering, huh? Okay. Wondering is perfectly natural, but never encouraged. Really? Really? One day I was in the park sunbathing. On the next picnic blanket over, a mother was talking to her son about the things he could do when he was older. The conversation went like this. Boy, drive a car? Yes. This is the boy. Go to work like daddy? Mom? Yes. Boy, kissing? Yes. Girls, you'll kiss girls. What are you supposed to tell kids then when they're like 5 or 6? Oh, I'm gonna kiss girls? Oh, I'm gonna kiss like daddy? No, Johnny. Maybe not like daddy. Maybe you'll be different than daddy and go suck on a guy's nip. Maybe you'll be different and want to kiss a they them. Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain that to children? I don't get it. I don't get it. After I snatched the child away and left him with social services. What? Hold up. Did I skip a page? Oh, no, I didn't. Yes. You'll kiss girls. Okay. And then I'm turning the page. And then it literally, yeah, that's page 7. This is page 8. Let me get it. Can you see it? Yeah, page 8. And it literally says, after I snatched a child away and left him with social services. Why? Even if you're joking, like, why? I don't get the need to say that. Oh, okay, I didn't do that, but I probably should have done something other than tut really loudly. No, honey, what you should have done was just mind your own fucking business and let that parent their child. Read their child. Not yours, not the state's, not the school's, their child. Oh, God, these people, they're insufferable. I swear to God, these people are insufferable. I don't even know this bitch, and I hate her already. Jesus. I was sad at how we still default to the heterosexual in the 21st century. The assumption goes that all babies are born both straight and locked in their birth gender unless something goes away. This is not the case. Girl, come on, let's be real. In 2018 Gallup poll, here we go with polling now. Poll. In 2018 Gallup poll, the percentage of American adults identifying as LGBTQ plus was 4.5%, which equates to more than 11 million people, roughly the number of people who live in Ohio. Ohio's got something in their water, let's be honest. Not saying, this has anything to do with it, but just in general. Some fucked up shit happening in Ohio. A 2016 Williams Institute study estimates that there are over just 1.3 million transgender adults living in the U.S. Actual trans adults or self-ID trans adults. Trans adults who actually went through the hormones and the surgeries are people who cosplay. There's a big difference. Let's be very serious now when we're talking about that. There's a big difference. And yet we're all automatically born straight and cis. Honey, cis is not a word. We're not going to use it. So for now on, when there's the word cis, I'm just going to skip it. The gender we're assigned at birth. Let's do sexuality first. You're told that you're straight and assume you're straight for almost all of your childhood. Despite quite compelling feelings to the contrary, you believe yourself to be straight because isn't everyone? No, and everybody knows that. What? Come on. Until sexual desire kicks in, assuming it does. I like to call the desire sex thoughts. Okay, honey, here we go. Because most of us spend our childhood identifying as straight, even though we may or may not actually feel straight. We don't always identify these sex thoughts, but it seems highly likely that from a very young age we, as LGBTQ plus people, were attracted to members of the same sex, be it people we know or shiny TV people. Well, they are pretty hot, right? Bruh. Come on. I wanted to know at what stage LGBTQ plus people feel first-hand questioning thoughts regarding their sexuality or gender. So I surveyed hundreds of them. See figure 1, who said statistics had to be boring. Look how pretty that pie chart is. And then basically they give you a breakdown. There's here, I'll show you guys. There's this picture right here, and then it breaks down to percentages of age groups and stuff like that. And I just want to see the actual statistical evidence behind this. I'd like to know the people who were polled, and you know what I mean. I like to see physical evidence, not just hearsay. So, physical evidence, but not that kind. Page 10. As you can see, almost a quarter of the sample were having same-sex thoughts and or thoughts regarding their gender before puberty, and over half after puberty. This makes sense, because puberty is the time at which great changes occur. One big change is the hormonal shift that drives us towards sexual relationships. It is at this point that many of us realize the cheeky little thoughts we're having late at night might be about people with the same bits as us. Escándalo. If I didn't have to continue, I wouldn't. For me, it was Dean Cain. Dean Cain, as if you didn't know, is the very handsome actor who played Clark Kent in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. Up until Cain came into my life, I had been convinced that I was going to marry Kelly, a girl in my class, whose name I've changed for her protection, or for her own fucking sanity, because she was kind, friendly, and blonde. What's wrong with brunettes? However, what I felt for Dean Cain, whose name I did not change for this book, I think it's the time he knew of my love, was very different to what I felt for Kelly. My interest in spandex-clad arms was far more pressing than being fond of Kelly, and when Clark got together with Lois, I felt the most intense jealousy of my life. I totally get how the BTS army feels on Twitter. Wow. Later, after a massive crush on a male teacher, I had to acknowledge that these feelings went beyond mere appreciation of the male form, and were in fact sex thoughts at this time. I supposed to be a boy, and that had a huge implication for my identity. What the hell does he even mean by that? At the time, I was supposed to be a boy, and this had huge implications on my identity. To the one person watching, what do you think they mean by that? I was supposed to be a boy. Okay, we know you're a boy. You're a man. You got a twig and berries. And then now you're, a transformer. So, you're a dude, and you like dudes. It's called being gay. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, shit. When first faced with same-sex sex thoughts or sex thoughts about your gender, your first reaction may well be the above. After all, society, films, television, newspapers, and books have told you your whole life that straight is normal, and not straight is not normal. Queen, in 2023, you can't get work if you're not gay. You like are pretty much like cream of the crop if you're gay. Not, I'm gonna take that back. Not gay. If you're trans, honey, you have the key to the world. Tell me I'm lying. And here's where they actually put it in big bold letters. Straight is normal, non-straight, not normal. Like, come on. Can we stop with the self-pity? You know, suddenly identified as a sex doll that is different and most different, and most people don't like different. So therefore, you're slapped with the not normal label. Don't panic. Just because LGBTQ plus people are in the minority, bitch, really? In the minority now? I mean, yes, it's true. A very small minority are the ones who are making up so much shit, and the small minority is the reason why legislation is being passed. The small minority, which takes control and precedent over everything else. You're taking over women's sports. You guys are taking over the schools. You're taking over doctors, therapists. Like, there's no longer teachers. There are no longer doctors or therapists. It's activists. Politician, big pharma, activist, politician. That's all it is. So don't even come at me with that bullshit. Don't even come at me. Just because LGBTQ people are not in the minority, it doesn't mean that they're not not normal. People with blue eyes are in the minority too, but we don't think of them as abnormal, do we? Come on. We don't look at Jake Gyllenhaal and say, look at that massive blue-eyed freak. Why would we? No, we only look at him and weep that we cannot have him. Anyway, who gets to decide what's normal and what isn't? What a horrid excluding word that is. Yeah. Excluding word. Now, how do you think biological women feel when you're excluding them from their own spaces and trying to take them over? God. Being normal is cool. It's the end thing to do. It's counterculture to be normal. And I'm far from normal, but I'm like a normal-based gay. So like I'm kind of on the level of being normal, just not quite because I still suck dick. So it kind of makes me abnormal. I don't know. Take it what you will, but let's continue. You may have grown up not only in the absence of gay or trans role models. Well, okay. I didn't need a gay role model. I didn't need a trans role model to make myself feel better. You know what I needed? Me, myself, and I. That is all you need. You don't need to look up to anybody. Trust me. And when you meet your role models, you're highly disappointed. But also encountering actual homophobia or transphobia. These things can be hugely worrying, especially at a time when you rely on familial support. You may also be one of those thousands of people with the same-sex thoughts in a country where it is illegal to have sexual activity with same-sex partners. Some people believe same-sex activity is against their religion. More on that in Chapter 6. Ooh, I can't wait. You probably have questions. I have loads. Look how big they put loads. Look how big they put loads. Like, are you trying to be tongue-in-cheek and funny? Come on. I had loads of questions. I heard rumors about what two men did together. You may have misunderstood things. My early concept of lesbian sex was way off. I basically thought it was like sanding the boobs off two Barbie dolls and rubbing them together. I basically thought it was like sanding the boobs off of two Barbie dolls by rubbing them together. Middle school book, guys. Middle school book. Whew. You may have even seen odd bits on TV and now don't know what to think. It seems highly likely that any sex ed you had at school taught you only how men and women make babies together and didn't mention transgender people at all. Because they shouldn't. God damn. Okay. They're not teaching children, well, from what I remember, I don't know now because y'all got some motherfucking freaks in your school teaching these poor children. They taught you how to have safe sex, not how to have the actual sex intercourse, but what to do, what to use, what to ask, what doctors to go to, how to be safe, how to check for STDs, to know the signs. Like, that's what they taught us. No one needs to be taught about a person that is mentally ill and likes to cut themselves and cut their body parts off. No. Come on. They don't. Not today. God damn. Okay, the next little, like, highlighted thing is, why are there trans people in this book? Why are there trans people in this book? Y'all really love labels. Jesus. You are right to ask this. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and the other orientations we talk about in this book are about sexuality. Being transgender has nothing to do with who you want to do sexy time with. It's about gender. Well, I'm glad you said it. So why the hell are you even attached to the LGB? It's not a sexuality. It's not. You just admitted it. Here, on page 12 at the bottom. It is not a sexuality. But here you go, attaching yourself to us. Just go. Ugh. And then here you go, there's like a picture of Le Club Secret. And it's just a bunch of, I don't know what they're trying to fucking... On to page 14. Trans people and non-straight people, bitch. Really? And non-straight people are subject to a lot of the same discrimination, misunderstanding, and mistreatment because many people think of us all being part of the same group. Well, damn fucking straight. Let's get that. Let's talk about that for a minute. Jesus. Like, the fact that they're kind of like calling themselves out and admitting that they know that, you know, people are lumping us all in together in the same category because of what the fuck they're doing and is rubbing off on us and making us look like the degenerate, perverted freaks that they are. Honey, I never wanted kids at Pride. I never wanted kids at drag shows. I never wanted kids to be taught this in school. But here they are doing it in our name. Calm down, Rocky. Calm down. Let's continue. Alright. We're just going to start all over again. Trans people and non-straight people are just subject to a lot of the same discriminations, misunderstandings, and mistreatment because many people think of us all being part of the same group. In a way, we are. No, we're not. In a way, we are, and that's why many people use LGBTQ+. A shorthand for our whole community. Bitch, short? Isn't it like 30 letters now? And numbers? And spirits? Like, get the fuck out of here. That initialism is inclusive of trans, so this manual should be too. What's more, if we wanted to, we all could spend our lives hiding. Initially, when I was living as James, I could have lied and pretended to fancy girls. Later, once I better understood my true gender, I could have lied and pretended to be a man, but I didn't. Twice. I did something about it and came out of hiding, so do all out proud, visible LGBTQ plus people. Not always the easy choice, but the right one. Some of y'all should have fucking stayed in the closet, to be honest with you. So whether it's LGBTQ or a combination of the... Okay. What do you mean by, or a combination of them? Let me read a comment. Honestly, I never remembered anything creepy when I first started going to Pride when I was like 17, 18. It got bad around 2015 when I was in a San Fran Pride and I saw naked. Girl, for real. Like, okay, Chicago native here. Hold on. Born and raised in Chicago for 25 years. Okay. Been to a couple of Prides. Both as a minor and as an adult. And had I never been to a pride as a minor, I don't think I would be as fucked up as I am now. And that's just the tea, girl. That's just the tea. Drinking, people giving me drugs, people giving me booze, people taking me home, and I'm 15, 16, living it up. Like, thinking I'm the shit, and I'm cool because I'm hanging out with older people, and this 30-year-old is, like, giving me money, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then fast forward, 35 right now, looking back on that, it's like, I was groomed, and a lot of other shit happened to me. I'm not going to get into that now because we're discussing this. But that all coincided with me going to Pride as a minor. So when I say children don't belong there, I mean it. Not to be an asshole, but because safety reasons why they don't need to be there around all these drunk people on drugs, having sex in public, naked people in bondage gear, whipping each other. Like, come on. Like, it's just, why do you need to be that way to show pride? Why do you have to be degenerate and disgusting and gross? I don't get it. Ugh. So whether it's the LGBT or Q or a combination of them, we're all seeking membership to this awesome club that exists outside the majority, and that's why we're all in this book together. We're all in this together. Oh my god, I know, I am so happy there's a gag chapter in Chicago, like, in just in Illinois, period, because they need it, and then the fact we have one in Illinois, one in Wisconsin, hi, and then one in Minnesota. Come on. Like, that's fucking amazing. We're coming for you, groomers. We're coming for you. I think we're not, bitch. You don't know where we're at, where we're gonna be, who we are, where we are, and what we know. Just know, we're watching. Alright, y'all, let's continue. Ooh, Georgia, hey, girl. Nice to meet ya. Okay, so there's, like, only one person in here. I'm gonna have a cigarette because this book is stressing me out. And Atlanta is honey. Atlanta. Okay. Is it just me? Or does Atlanta have a lot of black trans people? Like, more than anywhere else in the United States, I think. Like, a lot of the men are, like, sissy pussy bitches. I said what I said. They're not manly. It's gross. I hate it. Like, y'all think you're cute because you're cosplaying as a woman. Like, the hot thing for you to do would be to, let's see. I think somebody tried to report me again. It's a cigarette, YouTube. Calm down. No, like, Atlanta is seriously fucked. Like, we're all fucked. And this is the thing, like, I don't get why our organization gets so much shit for simply doing what is right. And what is right is protecting the innocent from this type of bullshit. But it's not okay. It's not. So, people like us and like you, Ellen, I'm trying to mess up your name. I'm going to say Ellen Videoland. People like you and I who are within the community and are tired of seeing it being hijacked and people making a mockery of everything that our elders fought for us to be here today and to live freely and not be judged and not be killed and not get fired from a job for our own sexuality, which we have no control over. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Doesn't this, like, bother you? Ellie, okay. Ellie. Oh, I love that name. It's so cute. Alright, so we are moving on to things no one says ever. When did you realize you were straight? Does your mom know you're straight? When have you shut the fuck up. We're gonna go from the beginning. When did you realize you were straight? When did you realize you were straight? Does your mom know you're straight? When you have straight sex, is one of you the woman? I have a straight friend. Would you like me to set you up on a date? It was so much fun. We went dancing at a straight club. Who says that? Like, who says I'm going dancing at a straight club? No one. No one says that. Ooh, that light went off. Good. Actually, this looks a lot better. Love it. I went to the cutest straight wedding this week. Do you think straight people should be allowed to have kids? I don't mind straight people kissing, but I wish they wouldn't rub it on our faces. Well, I think PDA is gross, whether you're straight or gay. Anyway, like, take that shit home, do that shit behind closed doors. Nobody want to see that. I don't. Ugh. Okay. There's a special place in Hades for all people, gay, straight, or otherwise, who kiss with visible tongue, audible slurping in public spaces. Well, that I can agree with. And then they give you this cute little illustration of the devil and hell and yeah, super gorge, girl, super gorge. We made it to chapter 2, guys. Chapter 2, the name game, or is it going to be called the blame game? Who knows? All right, we're going on to chapter 2. Does anybody have any questions? The one student in class who showed up today. Wholesome PDA had kiss. I mean, yeah. Okay, that's cute. But what I'm talking about is like the whole and like grabbing your ass and touching your dick. You know what I mean? Like borderline like softcore on top of clothes porn. Not here for that. And honestly, kids shouldn't see that either because then they see it and then they want to mimic it. Kids are like sponges. They absorb everything they're around. Alright, chapter 2, the name game. We're going to read one more chapter, and then if I feel like going, we're going to go. We already have 51 minutes, so it's kind of sad there's only one person in here, but it's okay. This will get out there eventually. Yeah, for sure, I was groomed just by seeing soap. For real! And some of those guys were fine. But, like, the shit I saw on TV, I don't think I should have been watching that at all. At all. Because I saw it and I wanted to replicate it. I didn't know what it was. I just know that it looked fun and I wanted to do it. And then people are going to say, oh, well, that's bad parenting on your parents' behalf. Well, that's just you. No, that's children in general. They're curious creatures. So, you may have sex thoughts about people of the same gender as you, or you may have questions regarding your own gender. Loads of people, even people who end up identifying as straight and have these thoughts and questions. I think it's far odder to have never thought about it. I only fancy blokes. But I've considered having sexy fun time with women plenty of times. Okay, again, what is this teaching children? What is this teaching children? Oh, what time is it going to be on? Because usually I just wait for the link to be posted because I can't get Kansas City radio and stuff like that. It sucks. So that's what I do when I do my radio interviews. I just tell them, bitch, send the link. I'm going to click it, copy it, paste it, send it. 7:30. So 7:30. It's 6:09 right now. Okay, God, work. Oh, Chris called me. I didn't answer. Whoops. Sorry, Chris. I'm online. Subjecting myself to this sadness. All right. I only fancy blokes, but I've considered having sexy fun time with women plenty of times. Like, why does this need to be in middle school, let alone school period? Like, what is this teaching anybody? What good are they getting out of this? Like, honestly. Can you answer me? Like, what good can children get from this book? What can they learn from this book to apply it in real life? Is it going to teach them how to write a check? Is it going to teach them how to apply for a loan? Is it going to teach them how to do an interview for a job? Is it going to teach them how to be a functioning adult in society? Is it? Because if it isn't, then it isn't educational and shouldn't be taught in schools. God damn. Alright. This is all fine. The fact that you're identified your sexy thoughts is probably the hardest part, so reward yourself with a delicious piece of cake. I think he means butt. But now we get to the bit where you actually have to make a choice. Ooh. What choices are they talking about? Let's see. You can choose to do nothing. You can choose to sit on these feelings and hope they go away. You can acknowledge them and act on them. Have the sex you want to have or wear the clothes you want to wear. Let's read that again. You can acknowledge them and act on them. Have the sex you want to have or wear the clothes. Okay, wear the clothes you want to wear. I'm not really. Okay, whatever. That's cool. I'm cool with that. I don't care. People talking about, oh, if they're dressing in different clothes, it's gonna make them get. Honey, no, it's not. It's called being a kid. They dress up. They play fantasy time. You know, they do whatever they want to do. The superheroes, princesses. That's what they do. But what I know they don't do is have the sex you want to have when you want to have it. Hmm? You think they're doing that? Kids are having sex? Middle schoolers having sex? That's cool. You cool telling them to do that? Fucking groomer. You want to wear the clothes you want to wear, but choose not to define yourself. You can act on them and adopt an identity to define yourself. This is the bit where you get the membership card and become part of the community. Okay, so in order for you to get the membership card, guys, guess what you got to do? You have to act on your wills and thoughts and adopt an identity to define yourself. You can't be you. You have to adapt. You have to adopt an identity to define yourself as. I can't just be, oh, I'm Rocky, I'm a gay man from the Midwest. No, I have to be like some libbed out, they, them, crybaby with like 30,000 fucking mental illnesses on 50 fucking prescriptions and cry myself to sleep because I go to the bar and someone calls me girl when I'm a girl. That's what they want. I'm not here for it. At all. Y'all make the community look like fucking jokers. Seriously. If anybody should be mad, we should be mad. Not you. You make us look like fucking weirdos. Seriously. Well, the left has certainly identified me without my consent. Oh, thank you. For real. Wowzers! This whole gay thing is a lot more complicated than the Glee led us to believe. Ugh, Glee. I hate that show. It's so annoying. People with same-sex... This is like tongue-twisting shit. People with same-sex sex thoughts or uncertainty about same-sex sex thoughts. Oh my god, I'm getting stupider. Or uncertainty about their gender sometimes stop at option 1. But I think these people are probably very sad and angry. I also think a lot of crazy homophobes are lingering perilously close to option 1, and this is what makes them so hateful. Freud called it transference. That basically means that you hate it, that you hate in others what you hate about yourself. Okay, like I can kind of like see what they're saying about like, okay, in my instance, in high school. Okay, high school. Little queen me. Jocks hated me. Fucking hated me. Because I was queer, flamboyant. I hate that word. I was gay, flamboyant. I didn't give a fuck. And they were always like, oh, you faggot, you weird, all that high school bullshit. But then, once high school was over, guess who was up in the DMs, honey? Those same hateful homophobic people, the same ones getting downtown on the So I can kind of see where they're coming with that. Okay, you got it, but not quite like that. Transfer, I don't. Okay, whatever. But it sounds like you're kind of projecting yourself when you say, I also think that a lot of crazy homophobes are lingering perilously close to option 1, and this makes them so hateful. Like, you're just projecting. Thank you, Ellie. Projection. Much? Huh? More people choose option 2. You can totally have sex with people who are the same gender as you, or not be gay or lesbian or bi. This is why a lot of forums, especially medical ones, you fill out may refer to men who have sex with men. Honey, that's just called being a guy who have sex with guys is gay. So can't we just say gay? Like, the fucking mental gymnastics you have to do to get a straight answer from these people is ridiculous. You have very little choice about your sexual preferences or gender, but only you can define yourself. This is option 3. You get to be out and proud and open about your relationships or gender. Living with stress and secrets. Living with stress and secrets is stressful. Well, no shit. It's a human nature to label things, and if you're having some confusing thoughts, giving a name to the situation may make you feel better. Okay. Okay, I guess you can call it out by name. Okay. Because you can be part of something, a bigger support network, the international house of gay, if you will. I present the identity machine. Start at the top and see where it takes you. Oh, are we getting into something juicy? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. You are here. Y'all see that? That is basically like a child chart. You know where you gotta find your way out? This looks like there is no way out. Yeah. And that's some explaining to do, because what is sex pigeons? Sex pigeons? Middle school? Grade school? Schools? Libraries? Sex pigeons? What? Before we go any further, you'll note I used the word prefer. Sexuality and gender identity are very much about preference. Sexuality is about preference. You're right. You're right. I prefer men. Actually, I prefer manly men. I prefer butch queens. I don't like you little. Those type. You know what I mean? I'm trying to like not get chopped. I actually want to grow a following and kind of do YouTube, so I'm gonna kind of like not get strikes, even though I got 2 strikes already. All right. Before we go any further, you'll note I use the word prefer. Sexuality and gender identity are very much about preference. I think we all consider sex with both men and women. Like I said, why wouldn't we? We're surrounded by sexy images in magazines and on TV. People who say we haven't thought about it are probably liars. Therefore, it's all about what we prefer sexually. We need to be open-minded at all times. Honey, why are we teaching kids about this? Why are we teaching kids about being sexual? Why? Oh my God. Your identity is... oh, well, hold on. I almost get too far. It's also worth noting that there are stacks of folks who don't like any of the above sexuality options. There are loads of pigeonholes to stuff people into, but not everyone fits into them so easily. Your identity as an individual or as your fingerprints, frankly. If you want to identify as a carrot, I will march in the carrot pride parade with you. See, that's the issue. That's the issue right there. Affirming this delusion is making this problem bigger. If someone came up to me and told me I identify as a carrot, bitch, you're going on a fucking 24-hour, 48-hour hold. I am not going to go march in a carrot parade with you. Let's get our shit together. Honestly, stop considering people's feelings and start living in reality. You're not helping these people by affirming their delusion. All you're doing is hurting them. Seriously, we need to stop. Oh my God. Like a carrot? I can't. Your identity as an individual, frankly, if you want to identify as a carrot, blah, 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 carrot pride with you. Your identity is your business. It's all gravy. You're right, it is your business, and you should keep it to yourself. Now that we've been label shopping, it's worth noting that, okay, let me just stop right there. Label shopping. I remember growing up, we hated labels. We never wanted to be labeled. We are an individual. We are not a collective. We're ourselves. I don't know labels, but now it's like Pokemon. How many labels can I get? Gotta catch them all. Now that you've been label shopping, it's worth noting that the one you bought had a return policy. Here we go, people. Here we go. Sexual preference and gender are fluid. Meaning, just because you feel one way now, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll feel the same way in 5 years' time. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick, because using your logic, you're admitting that if someone says there's something now, they may not feel that way 5 years from now. So if a child is telling you at 5, I feel like I'm a girl, a boy, 5-year-old boy tells you, I feel like I'm a girl, and you go ahead and rush him on hormones, and you go put him on Lupron, which was, invented to sterilize pedophiles who committed acts against children. Put them on that. Do everywhere else, pull a Jazz Jennings. And then 10 years after all that, they fucking realize that this is not for me. Hello? What are you doing? What are you doing? You would say it right there. You said it right fucking there. Somebody who identifies as something now may not feel like they feel that same way 5 years from now. And that is exactly what we're telling you. Pump the brakes. Stop the madness. Stop the transitioning of children. Stop pushing this bullshit propaganda in schools. Because what you're doing is leading people down a road where they're never going to recover from and have no way out and never be able to come back. Never be able to have kids. Never be able to fucking have a family. Never be able to have an orgasm. Who wants to live like that? But you're willingly okay letting children do that. Okay. And I'm the fucking weird one. I'm the weird one because I want to protect children. I'm the weird one because you always bring up genitals into the conversation. You're the creepy one because you're just bringing up the genitals. Well, that's what's targeted, is the genitals. You're cutting the healthy people's body parts off, their reproductive body parts, as some kind of game. It's a game to you fucking people. I swear to God, y'all make me sick. Y'all make me fucking sick. Plenty of people change their sexual identities, and that's fine. In fact, when this book was first published, I was a gay man. Now I'm a trans woman. That's just the way it goes. Ain't it so? If everything's changeable, and if we all exist on a fluctuating, wibbly-wobbly spectrum of sexual desire, something very hard to define at the best of times, why do we bother with labels at all? Why don't we all just skip around with flowers in our hair and making out with the people we like, regardless of their gender? That's very, very, very fun thing to do for children, isn't it? Little 12-year-old Susie and 11-year-old Timmy holding hands, throwing flowers and slob-knobbing each other. You sick fucking perverts. Sick perverts. Well, probably because that's quite hard to describe. At the end of the day, it is easier to have single words to use and define yourself when talking to other people. People will ask you how you identify. No, I will never ask somebody how they identify. Never. How you identify. And although it's tempting to launch into a tirade about the tyranny of labels, it's far simpler to say, oh, I'm bi, and let that be it. Still, even that doesn't mean you have to adopt a label. Plenty of people don't with this in mind. Let's take a look at the most common labels and offer the identity shop. Here we go. L is for lesbian. The word lesbian is derived from the name of the island of Lesbos, where a Greek poet called Sappho ran her own 6th century BCE version of the L word. She gathered a whole gang of girls in the sunshine and wrote poems about how hot they were. Fast forward 25 years to around the turn of the 20th century, and women were seeking a name for a growing subculture that was gaining visibility and status. Until this point, historically, gay women were almost considered a myth. Probably a sign of how little women were regarded of thoughts as sexual creatures outside of marriage. But now, gay women, inspired by Sappho's Island of Lusty Ladies, coined the name lesbians, which before then had been used to describe anything of Lesbos. Lesbos. Today the word means Today the word more or less means a woman who has sex with women. Some such women don't like the word lesbian and prefer gay women. I know, right? Island of lusty ladies. Okay, this is going to be a quote from J28, Brighton, UK. I prefer gay to lesbian. I think it's something about the noun versus adjective thing. I.e., lesbian sounds a bit more central and defining, whereas gay is just one of a number of adjectives that could be used to describe a person. Well, thank you, Jay. You're so fucking insightful. Now, you may have heard some people calling lesbians dykes. This is a touchy subject because it originated as an insulting term. Unless you identify as a lesbian yourself, you should never use the word dyke at all. Honey, you're not going to infringe on my free speech. Okay, dyke, dyke, chickadee, dyke. Say it whenever I want. Dykes on bikes. Come on. The word is pejorative unless it's being reclaimed as a slang by gay women themselves. What the fuck ever. Alright, guys, guess what? G is for gay. The word gay started life meaning joyful, carefree, bright, and showy from the French term gaiety, which is still used. However, by the 17th century, the word had evolved. A gay woman was a prostitute, a gay man was promiscuous, and a gay house was a brothel. Nice. So, by the mid-20th century, gay still meant carefree. I wish it still did. As opposed to those who were straight or a little square and started to take on its homosexual connotation. Woo! Given that at the time homosexual was a clinical diagnosis, it's no wonder that a term meaning bright and showy ironically became shorthand for men who wished to exist in a secret subculture. Not men who wished to exist in a secret subculture, just men who were different. Men who liked different things. Again with the labels. By the 1990s, it was decided that gay was the preferred and politically correct way to refer to men who have sex with men. And of course, also women who have sex with women. Cute. Sadly, about the same time, the word gay was also twisted to mean something that was weak, crap, or trash. I don't care what anyone says, the usage stems from homophobia. So don't do it. Yes, I know it's in the title, but that's because I'm making a point. Everything in this book is about actually being gay. And I said it like that because, like, literally, they're, like, yelling at me. So I'm gonna pretend I'm them and I'm yelling at you. Okay. Or lesbians, or bi, or trans, or queer, or plus. They literally have a plus sign. But that wouldn't have been nearly as attention-grabbing, would it? Okay. Next, B is for bisexual. This is nothing new. The people of ancient Greece and Rome were generally pansexual. People who are sexually attracted to people regardless of their gender or sexuality. Bisexual. Not pansexual, that's just another dumb word you use. Bisexual, attraction to both men and women. Bisexual. Fuck your pan shit. Get out of here with that. Go clean. Go do something. Go cook in your pan. Because we're not doing that today. People who are sexually attracted to people regardless of their gender or sexuality. Again, for those of you not tuning in, we are reading This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson, who right now on September 26th in Kenosha, I will not completely say everything yet until the closer of the date in which school and what county is happening, but they have this book that's going to be put on school library shelves for the young children to read. Alright. And no one batted an eyelid. Sadly for us, we like things to be binary, black, white, good, bad, male, female, and this isn't great for anyone. Honey, it's how a functioning society works. Okay? It's been working for the last couple thousand years. Why is it not working now? That's right, because y'all are bored and want something to fucking bitch about. Broadly speaking, a bisexual is someone who likes to have sex with people of two or more genders. Men, women, and They're really trying to say non-binary is a fucking gender. How is non-binary a gender if you're trying to claim that you don't exist within the binary? Bruh. Goddamn. There are there are a plethora of misunderstandings about bisexuality. The most prevalent being the bi now, gay later theory that all gay men and lesbians have a brief period of bi town before catching the last train to Gayville. While this is the case for some actual gay men and women, there are plenty of people who have no intention of traveling all the way to the end of the line, and that's fine. The idea that bisexual people are kidding themselves or that they are being selfish and or greedy is hurtful. Well, what else would you say they're being? I think they're being a little greedy. So I'm going to call them greedy. The idea that bisexual people are kidding themselves, blah, blah, greedy, hurtful. Why is it so hard to accept that someone might be attracted to both sexes? If someone is willing to identify as bi, then surely they'd be just as happy to wear a gay label. What would be the point of lying? Why do we so badly need people to be gay or straight? Why do you so badly need people to become, not even people, but children, to become trans? To become gay or lesbian? Can't we just let them figure that out for themselves when the time is right? I think we should. Not according to you people, though. It's kind of disgusting. What would be the point in lying? Why do we feel so badly? Why do we so... oh my god. Why do we so badly need people to be gay or straight? Bisexual people might be misunderstood, but they have the right to be proud of their identity and sexual preference. So here we go, another quote from Blaze, or Blaz, 34, from Bristol, UK. I identify as a lesbian because I don't like to admit I'm bisexual. I identify as bisexual, though I rather like to describe it as people are beautiful, people are hot, people are attractive, and I fall in love. I fall in love. Mickey, 18, Michigan. Anonymous, 24, Brighton, UK. I tell people I'm bi because it's easier to understand, but I think I'm pan. I'm concerned with personality, not genitals. Whatever. Nina, 16. 16 from the UK. I say I'm bisexual when asked. Varies depending on the day, who I've been around, what I've been reading, and so on. It's true. Varies depending on the day, who I've been around, what I've been reading, and on so on. So basically, they're like the air. Paper in the air. Paper in the breeze. Flow wherever it takes you. No, like, solid ground to stand on and believe for yourself and who you are as an individual. Pretty much what you're saying, Nina, 16 from the UK, is that you'll be whatever you want people. You'll be whatever you want people to be. Whatever people want you to be, you're gonna be. That was hard to get out. It's pretty much what you're saying. That's what I'm getting. Q is for queer. Oh, is this almost over yet? Oh my god. Queer originally meant someone or something a little unusual or out of the ordinary. In the late 20th century, it became a derogatory term or abuse word aimed at homosexuals. Okay, yeah, I guess. Right, I don't know about that. However, more recently, following the AIDS pandemic, the world has reclaimed, at first by the group Queer Nation, as a catch-all phrase to represent the full spectrum of sexuality and gender, but later is more of a criticism of identity than an identity itself. Basically a label for people, gay or straight, who are sick of labels. I'm gonna give you a label because you're sick of a label. These fucking people. Common sense and logic went out the window with that one. Jesus. Nonetheless, it is now used as an identity in the broadest possible terms, as there are a number of groups under the queer umbrella. Honey, we know. Being queer means not having to define your sexuality, your sexual identity, or gender with just one label. In a world in which your sexuality and gender are open to change, it does sometimes seem silly to use labels. Even classing yourself as bisexual adds the idea that there are only three choices, which clearly isn't the case. Nor should it be an automatic term for someone who is neither gay nor straight. Queer theory is a fascinating and expanding subject, and there are many, many books and theses written on it. And this was a long ass quote from Carrie from Brighton, UK. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. We're going to just do this last chapter and we're going to call it a day. Tomorrow I'll come back with chapter 3. Thank you all, nobody, for being here. I appreciate it. Love y'all. Alright. And quote begins. Defining yourself with a deliberately slippery word might seem like a contradiction in terms. For me, that was the point. I feel that straight, gay, and bi don't adequately cover or include the way I feel. The way I feel. For one thing, those terms suggest a rigid and inflexible take on gender. For people who see sex and gender in ways other than binaries, the options of one, the other, or both simply don't fit. In addition to that, I find that gender and sex is a relatively small part of sexual attraction. For me, it seems odd to define my sexual identity by a small facet of it. While some LGBT people, or people into kink, for example, choose to solve this problem with more specific identities. I'd rather not try and sum it up in that way. For me, identifying as queer is a way of placing myself outside of straight, mainstream sexuality without having to identify with other ideas I can't relate to. C is for curious. Alright, let's get this going. Curious or questioning is often now used, means just that, someone who is in the process of asking the big question. I think all young people should spend time thinking about desire. Desire for what? Desire for what, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, you're saying curious and questioning, the process of asking the big question. I think all young people should spend time to thinking about desire. Desire to be successful, desire to be a good human being, desire to save the world, desire to be president, desire to be a mother, desire to do what specifically? Because by page 29 out of like literally 300 pages, 300 plus pages, I've already got you picked, bruh. Ma'am, sir, it, they, whatever the fuck you are. You're literally grooming children. That's what you're doing. It's not right. We're coming for you. The desire. I think everyone would be a lot happier if they took a few weeks to dwell on what does it for them. It'd resolve a lot of tension and grief. I expect a whole lot of people experiment. They give it a little go and see if they like it. Sometimes do and do it again, and some rule it out, happy in the knowledge that they're not missing out. Oh my god. I know, but I mean, you gotta start somewhere, like you said, you know? I'm gonna do a chapter or two a day, and hopefully get this book done before the school board meeting, because this book is quite spicy, and not in a good way. Alright, let's continue on for curiosity. Curious. Like anything in life, sometimes you don't know until you try it. I wouldn't eat prawns until I was 18. I wouldn't eat prawns until I was 18. The mere idea of them freaked me out. But then I tried them, and it turns out they're delicious. Don't worry. I've more than made up for it since. I stress in this instance that prawns is not a euphemism for anything. Okay, cool. Thank you for getting that out of the way. A is for asexual. There are two ways of looking at asexuality. The first is a lack of or little interest in sex. Cool. That stopped the abortion problem then. With anyone, the second is a refusal to define your sexual orientation or uncertainty about your sexual orientation, a more modern use of the term. Asexuality is not celibacy, abstaining from sex. Asexual people may have sex, to have kids, to try it out, or to experiment. But if asexuality is the process of not having sex, and them having sex wouldn't make them asexual, right? No, I'm serious. Like, I don't. All this shit is new to me. I only know about the LGBT, the T. I don't know about the Q plus, LMNOP. Like, I don't. Miss me with that shit, bitch. Asexuality is not celibacy, abstaining from sex. Asexuality may not. People may not have sex or want to have sex to have kids, try it out, or experiment. But asexual people would characteristically have little desire for either men or women. So if you go back to our flow chart, they would typically lose interest after the first question. Asexual people will often have romantic feelings towards people, and they may well have boyfriends and girlfriends and do all the lovey-dovey hanging, holding hands, hugging part without the weenies and the vajayjays. Again. Why do you gotta talk like that if this book is geared toward children? Why? Why? And if it's not geared toward children and this book is meant for, like, teenagers or, like, 17 up, you should probably put that on the book in the beginning, somewhere, like, before like, somewhere in there, but you don't. So that's the only thing I can go off of is this is what it's for. Children. Aromantic is similar to asexual. You can probably figure out at this time, one, with no help from me, aromantic peeps may feel platonic love for their friends or families, but have little or no interest in forming romantic relationships. This is, you guessed it, fine. Some people just aren't that sexual, and like all identities, this one might change over time. I have found that growing numbers of teenagers identify as asexual while figuring out What teenagers are you talking to, honey? Why are you even talking to teenagers about this? Like, leave them alone. Wanting to know about children having sex is disgusting. What's the point of wanting to know what children do? What teenagers do? Here we go. Hitting to the hot topic. T is for transgender. Right at this very outset of this discussion, let's not get it twisted. Here we go. So they have... let me break this down for you real quick. This is what it is. Transgender. This is an umbrella term for all people who would experiment with or move between genders. Oh no, it's not transgender. That's what that was. Transsexual. A person who feels they were born in the wrong gender will sometimes seek to correct their gender, sometimes with surgery. Transvestite. A crossdresser is someone who enjoys wearing... Okay, so if you're saying they're a transvestite, and then say a crossdresser is someone who enjoys wearing the clothes traditionally assigned to the opposite sex mostly for fun, just say drag queen. Crossdresser. And here we go. Drag king and queen. A performance crossdress. Wasting time and paper, people. Wasting time and paper. Now this is really tough, and you'd be forgiven for making mistakes when trans is so often used as shorthand when it almost always means transgender or transsexual. You may also hear genderqueer, which, like queer theory regarding sexuality, is more of a refusal to pigeonhole than an identity in itself. Using trans as an umbrella term causes one big problem. Some misinformed people think that all trans people have had some form of surgery to correct their gender. This is the hangover from the outdated terminology sex change. Trans people may have had surgery or be taking medication, but many won't have had either or those things. So then you're not trans. Sue me. As with dyke, you absolutely don't have permission to use the word tranny. Honey, Yes, the fuck they do. Tranny, 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 tranny. Come on. Free speech, bitch. Get into it. Love it. We're in America. We can say what we want. You don't like it, go to Canada. Get the fuck out of here then. As with dyke, you absolutely don't have permission to use the word tranny unless you yourself are transgender. Got that? Well, guess what? I identify as trans. So fuck you, tranny. There are broader issues regarding gender identity in that we are still very much struck in a binary culture which say some things are for boys, slugs and snails and puppy dog tails, and some things are for girls, sugar and spice and all things nice. P.S. Who wrote this anti-feminist hate anthem to think we tell it to children in nursery school? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Advertisers would like us to believe that being female somehow feels different to being male, but we will never really know. Well, yes, women have periods. Women give birth. Like, men can't do that. And no, don't even come at me with the, well, non-binary men, well, non-binary people can have babies. No, women have babies. Men help women make babies. Oh, miss me with that. Using trans as an umbrella term causes one big problem. Some misinformed people think that all trans people have had surgery. Yeah, we got that. Alright, got that. The dyke part, nursery rhymes. Advertisers like to believe that being female. Yeah, of course. Culture tells our parents how to dress us as kids, and it becomes ingrained. It sometimes seems bonkers to me to think that a dude would have to be trans to put on a skirt or some heels. No, just be a drag queen. Oh, here we go. They're getting me. Now I'm going to go back and reread that. Advertisers would like us to believe that being female somehow feels different to being male, but we will never ever know. Reality is, culture tells our parents how to dress us as kids, and it becomes ingrained. It sometimes seems bonkers to me to think that a dude would have to be trans to put on a skirt or some heels. No, honey, be a drag queen. They could do that just fine. Who bloody says that they're female attire? Sadly, as most of the world is blind to how small-minded this is, that's the way the cookie crumbles. For now, as we said in the last chapter, although the studies of gender and sexuality are closely linked, they are largely unrelated. A person will choose separate identities for both instances. I used to identify as a gay man. Now I'm a straight trans. No, you're not, honey. You're not a straight trans woman. You're a man in women phase. Let's get that correct. Rory story. Alright, Rory, honey, let's see what happened to you. Rory from Brighton, identifies as a trans man. Hi, trans man. How you doing? He had surgery and took hormones to change gender several years ago. Here is her story. I always liked to dress up and be a boy. At primary school, everyone knew me as the girl who wanted to be a boy. The other kids used to tease me about it on the playground, and it would make me cry. But I didn't know why I was upset by it. Maybe it was the singling out. So I didn't get taken aside by a teacher. I couldn't understand what the big deal was. Who wouldn't want to be a boy? As an adult, I found a way of being a boy that was acceptable and adored. I was Rory Raven, drag king extraordinaire. For years I've been dressing up in private, wearing very masculine clothes. Shirts with a tie, suits, suspenders, a trilby hat, what the fuck is that? But I felt I had to hide, that there are something wrong with it. I never had to get changed, what? I'd even had to get changed back in the normal clothes just to use the bathroom in my own home, just in case my flatmates saw me. Calm down, they're just clothes, Jesus Christ. Just in my case, flatmates saw me. But as a drag king, I would be on stage wearing the clothes publicly that I felt comfortable wearing. At the end of the performance, I'd watch my fellow drag kings remove their drag and change into the right clothes. They'd scrub off all the fake facial hair and 5 o'clock shadow and replace it Instead with makeup, lipstick and eyeshadow, feminine and understated. That's kind of rude. Understated? If it wasn't for women, you wouldn't even be here. Let's get that straight. I wanted to stay in my drag and felt at loss when the evening was over. Sure you did. For my 24th birthday, I was given a binder. Oh my god, here we go. Self-mutilation. A binder is a tight-fitting vest which is worn underneath clothes that makes the wearer look flat-chested, and therefore male. It was tight and uncomfortable, and wearing it wasn't pleasant. Getting into it wasn't easy. Getting out of it was even harder. I thought I was going to accidentally suffocate myself trying to take the thing. Okay, let's talk about that. Binders are not safe for people who are not grown when their bones are still developing. What the fuck? Ugh. God. I thought I was going to accidentally suffocate myself trying to take the thing off for the first time, but wearing it gave me such liberation. I felt like I was being seen for the first time, so I kept wearing it, even when I wasn't performing. Sounds like you need to go talk to somebody. Please go seek therapy. You probably are just a masculine lesbian. What's wrong with that, sweetie? Save the tomboys. God, save the tomboys. Soon enough, I began to wonder, what's the difference between Rory on stage and Rory in real life? My friends were already calling me Rory as a nickname, and some of them were even referring to me with male pronouns. Okay, whatever. I decided to take the fake beard and just start living full time as Rory, only without the ornithological surname. Not a big word boy, so excuse-moi. Work was really supportive because they knew that if they weren't supportive, they'd get canceled and shut down. Because of you. I decided to take the fake beard off and just start living my life full-time as Rory, only without the orthodoxical surname. Work is really supportive. I know I was lucky in this regard, as I worked for a trans charity at the time. They didn't bat an eyelid. Well, that's kind of... I'm questioning that now. If you worked at this trans place, and before that you were just, a butch girl, and all of a sudden now you want to be trans after working at this trans place... doesn't seem very, nothing to see there, right? Okay. My name change was the most important part of my transition. Choosing my name was a profound and powerful decision. It would be a mixture of who I was and who I wanted to be. The timing of my legal change was important too. It was a few days before my 25th birthday, which for me is the start of my new year, and coincidentally was the beginning of the new year for several religions and cultures worldwide. Okay. Life has paradoxically become both better and a lot harder since transitioning. Coming out to everyone is an ongoing process. Some friends could see it coming, so we're in phase. Others took a little bit longer, and sadly, I have lost contact with some people altogether. How do you think we feel when we go out and we tell people, hey, maybe kids shouldn't go to drag shows, maybe kids shouldn't read books like this? And then all of a sudden they block us, talk shit about us, dox us, come after us, the whole 9 yards. You don't hear us complaining about it, do you? No. No, you don't. Well, half the time it's because we're fucking blocked on every platform where we can't say anything about it anyway. My adopted queer family has embraced me, and that has given me a lot of strength. Transition has opened doors I didn't know existed, and I made a lot of new friends along the way. Helping trans friends. A lot of people struggle with the pronoun game. This is understandable. After all, for years and years you've used i.e. he to describe your friend, and now she is asking to be called she. Wait a minute. Okay, what? This is confusing. This is understandable. After all, for years and years you've used he to describe your friend. And now she is asking to be called she. So don't you mean now he is asking to be called she? Because if she was a she and she wants to be called she, there would be no difference because she is still a she. Because she was never anything else but a she, unless she was a he and now he wants to be a she. And you like, come on, make the math. Let's go. Ugh. Oh man, these people. It can take time to adjust. However, you should always respect your friend's choice. If you think it's hard, how hard do you think it is for your friend? Oh, here we go. Here we go with that shit. Gaslighting. Gaslighting. How hard do you think it is for your friend? Get on board with a new pronoun quickly and never use the word it or he, she. That is not cool. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And, oh my god. And it's for non-binary. How much fucking longer is this chapter? Jesus. Okay. 1.5 more pages. 1 viewer. 0 viewers. 1.5 more pages will be done before the 2-hour mark. I promise. And as for non-binary, increasingly people who are rejecting traditional concepts of male and female, perhaps we're all waking up to the idea that gender largely isn't a construct. Buckle up, buttercups. Here we go. Increasingly, people are rejecting traditional concepts of male and female. Perhaps we're all waking up to the idea that gender largely is a construct. Yes, some people think we are wholly defined by our biology and our genes. What else would there be? But I think that steers us into some very bleak territory. As Chaz Bona once said, gender's between your ears, not your legs. Gender is between... What's in between your legs? Not between your head. Reverse it. I think that steers us... gender is between your ears, not your legs. And that's so true, as we can't know if being male feels one way and being female feels different, as we only have our individual experiences to go on. Okay, so we're going to stop there. If I'm a man, I'm a proud man, okay? I know what it feels like to be a man. If I, for whatever fucking reason, decided to transition, I would still never know what it would completely 100% know what it would feel like to be a woman. Never. I would never know what it would feel like to go through puberty as a girl. I would never be able to conceive a child as a girl. I would never be able to get pregnant like a girl. I would never be able to menstruate like women do. So you kind of never really know what the other person ever completely goes through or feels. So that right there doesn't make any sense, honey buns. It just doesn't. Doesn't compute. Does not. I just... Reading this book and realizing, like, stepping out and looking in and knowing what happens within the community and, like, the underbelly gross part of it, and to see children being slowly pushed into that direction without any gatekeeping or any parental guidance or even parents knowing what's going on with their kids is scary. It's scary. And I just think everybody should know that children are the most vulnerable, that need to be protected, and not standing up and not protecting them and not saying something and not going out to stop this and not speaking up about the books you find in your child's classrooms or libraries or clinics that are pushing sexual reassignment and all that other nonsense. Like, not saying something makes you just as complicit as the people doing it. It really does. In my humble opinion, it really does. You're either going to stand up and save your children, Or are you going to let them be taken away by this cult-like ideology that is fixated on children? Our future. If they get their hands on these kids, we don't have a future anymore. Conservatives, I'm talking to you, like your big gun-ho thing about abortion. Let me break it down for you real simple, as easy as I can. If these children go on the path of transitioning, puberty blockers, hormones, the whole 9 yards, honey, abortion is not going to be an issue because these children are not going to be able to have kids. So how about we come up with some legislation and some laws and some ordinances protecting these kids? Or is somebody lining your pockets with big money? Abbott? Evers? What's going on? Huh? Why is Florida the only fucking one doing shit? Why is like Kansas and they're doing shit, they're banning shit. Like 16 states are already out here like stopping this. And a lot of other states should follow suit, but they don't. So my question is, what is behind it? Why do they not want to stop it? Why do they not want to protect children? They must be getting paid a lot of big bucks from Big Pharma. Pockets are looking hefty, honey. Alright, let's continue and get this out of with. As we can't know if being male feels one way or being female feels different, as we only have our individual experiences to go on, all we can ever control is how we wish to express our personal identities. For some people, that's traditionally female. For some, it's traditionally male. But for many other... No, a small minority of people, not many others. God, these people. First they're marginalized and they're like the minority, and now they're like the majority. Like, pick one, girl, pick one. Pick one. But for many people, it's neither or both. Guess what? That's fine. Non-binary or gender fluid or becoming identities. See, it's not even a real identity. They have to make shit up to feel included in their own right and free people up to express their genders however they like. Miley Cyrus described herself as a gender fluid in 2015, raising awareness further in 2019. Fuck you, Miley. Singer Sam Smith came out as non-binary and uses they/them pronouns. Fuck you, Sam Smith. These fucking people don't have famous people as idols because they're just going to lead you down the wrong path. Maybe some, but Sam Smith, Katy Perry, Madonna, they're fucking with that bullshit. Not today, Satan. In places, I've used M to F, male to female. M to F is male to female, and F to M is female to male. Alright, just so you guys know the lingo. To describe binary transgender people for... Okay, let me reread that. In places, I've used M to F, male to female, and F to M, female to male, to describe binary transgender people for non-binary people. Okay. Work. Alright. Sure. Obviously, this won't quite apply. That said, hospitals, doctors, and scientists still use these terms, so I felt I needed to in places as well. Rest assured, though a non-binary or genderqueer person experiences of gender is very bit as valid as mine. Intersex. Oh, that was a weird ending to that one. Okay. Intersex. Oh god, here we go. Here's where the trans fucking bullshit comes in. Intersex is not so much an identity in that you can't really choose it. Remember, you can't choose your preference, but you can choose your label. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Remember, you can't choose your preference. I don't know if you can see that. You can't choose your preference. Remember, you can't choose your preference. So when a woman says, when a lesbian, biological woman says that she only dates other biological lesbian women, Remember, they're not responsible for their preferences. They can't choose their preferences. When a man says he doesn't want to sleep with another man pretending to be a woman, remember, preferences. That's not transphobic. It says so right here. You said it yourself, bitch. Remember, you can't choose your preference, but you can choose a label or identity. Well, no shit. We see y'all doing it, changing it every 5 minutes. Since intersex is used as a label by both intersex people and doctors, it's worth mentioning here. A person is born intersex if they have genitalia or sexual characteristics that do not conform to the strict definition of male and or female. This does not make them transgender, as they may agree with the gender they are assigned. Most intersex people, rightly or wrongfully, are assigned a sex at birth. Well, they talk to the parents first, and then they talk with the doctors, and the parents get together, and they decide what best suits the child to be in society. They're thinking long term, okay? If I'm not intersex, so I don't know anybody who's intersex, because that's like 0.00000 like 0.000000001% of people. I don't know. Like, if they have a vagina and then they have I'm pretty sure they're just gonna and keep the and then they would be a woman. Or I mean, you gotta stop using intersex as an excuse to fucking tag on your trans bullshit. It's not gonna work. It doesn't work for me anyway. I see right through it. It's these white liberal women who fucking fall for that shit all the time. It's so sad. Okay. Transgender issues are linked with intersex issues. Yeah, because you make them intersect. As many intersex people grow up to disagree with the gender they were assigned to and seek to change. I like to see statistics on that, honestly. Like real ones, not feelings of statistics. Statistics based on feelings. I like to see actual numbers. So if you got them or if they're out there, let a bitch know, because I'd love to read up on that. What is cisgender? We're going to skip that because we don't know that these people actually realize that cisgender is just made up. And we're not going to acknowledge that. So, that is it for chapter 1 and 2 of the This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson. Tune in with me tomorrow at 5:15 for chapter 3, 4, and possibly 5. I just want to thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you to Ellie, the one person who actually watched the video and tuned in for the live. Thank you very much. And look, let me just get this out of the way right now. These are my opinions, and I'm allowed to have them, as everyone should have them. But look, if you're an adult and you're down with the trans thing, and that's, you want to mutilate yourself, do you, boo? I don't care. Just one, don't push it down my throat. 2, don't make the American people pay for it with Medicaid and all that other shit. You want to do that, you fund that shit yourself. Okay? Just try to be equal, right? But when it comes to children, Nope. Leave them alone. Let them grow up, figure things out for themselves. Let them talk to their parents if they're feeling any type of way. The teachers are not the parents. The schools, not the parents. Okay? They're not. Back the fuck up. Get rid of all these activists that are in school. Hire some real educators. Raise our test scores. Make us start learning actual things. Math, reading, science, none of the queer shit, labels this, trans that, drag queen this. China's eating our lunch for fucking breakfast, dude. They are coming for us. These kids, these little children that are 3, 4, 5, they already know how to do I don't know, the hardest math in the world. Fucking know how to shoot guns. They know how to like build things. And here we go. Our like third, fourth graders are sitting here trying to figure out what pronoun to use or what litter box they're gonna bring today or what little Timmy identifies as. We got bigger problems. We really do. So, thank you guys again for being here. Appreciate it. And yeah, let's go save some kids, peeps. I am Audi 5000. Laters.